Forget gurus. Forget anyone claiming to be an online business expert without going through the challenges of entrepreneurship themselves. The Real Money, Real Business podcast is here to prove the best insights in online business comes from your fellow online business builders. We dig into stories of entrepreneurs selling their business on the Empire Flippers marketplace so that you can learn how they made their business profitable, how they overcame obstacles, and what lessons they learned in their online journey. If you want to take your business and your knowledge to the next level, you've come to the right podcast. Let's get started.
Hey everyone, Max here with another great business to discuss on this episode of the Real Money, Real Business podcast. Today's guest is Kyle, and he's selling his e-commerce business on the Empire Flippers marketplace. So welcome to the show, Kyle. How are you doing today?
Doing good. It's a beautiful day here in New Mexico. Excited to be talking some business with you.
Nice to hear. So before I dive in, let's give a brief summary of your business. It's an e-commerce business in the equipment niche, created in October 2017. The average monthly revenue for the business is $53,127 and makes an average of $13,852 per month in net profit. For everyone listening, you can visit empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing 48053 to learn more about the business. Included in the sale is a domain and all the site contents files, 2 affiliated domains, an email list of 15,000 subscribers, social media accounts, SOPs, supplier contracts and relationships. So now that I've given a general overview of the business, Kyle, would you mind telling us a little bit about your background in building and running online businesses?
Yeah, definitely. So this business is honestly my background in it. I was a junior in college and I had a class that we were tasked to start some type of online business, and that's where it originated from. Pretty much I built it out in October of 2017, and then I took the second version of the class, which was the following semester, and that was kind of growing it. So we started in October 2017, but we didn't make our first sell until February of 2018. From there, we were featured in actually a national news documentary about my university and just kind of some of the economic development stuff that was going on. And so that kind of got us some traction, got us our first sales, and then we've just kind of grown it from there. You know, like I said, my experience is this business, so it's been a very learn as you go type of process. You know, we've definitely had our fair share of speed bumps and things like that, but we've always been able to overcome. But I mean, I think this just goes to show what a lucrative market that we were able to create such a profitable business with, you know, literally zero experience, just fresh off the streets.
Yeah, definitely. So how did you come up with the idea to start this?
So this business is in a kind of a specific photography niche. And at the time, you know, throughout college and high school, I was really into photography. And, you know, people were wanting to use the product that we sell in their photo shoots. But at the time, there was no credible sellers. Really, the only places to get them were from sketchy eBay sellers and things like that. And since then, eBay is actually no longer allowed selling. So, I mean, everything has to go through e-commerce now. And so we just decided to kind of spin up a trendy brand for the product, you know, post on social media, create some really cool content around it. And, you know, the ultimate goal was just to become the cool kid on the block in this industry. And, you know, that's exactly what we did. We, you know, slowly clawed our way up to, you know, one of the largest sellers of this specific product. You know, we've been able to work with A-list celebrities, YouTubers with millions of subscribers. It was kind of just when a little bit of preparation meets opportunity. You know, I knew about the industry, found that there was nobody kind of meeting this trendy Instagram brand world. And so I just collided the two. And since then, we've just been running with it.
And we've mentioned that it's an e-commerce store, but can you tell us a little bit about how the store is built? Sort of what platform does it use?
Yeah, definitely. So, you know, I keep it relatively simple. We just use Shopify to build out the store. We use a theme from a theme builder called Out of the Sandbox. Gives you lots of freedoms. You know, our site's really cool. It's really well branded. We have a lot of custom content on there. And then we, you know, just have some basic integrations. We have text message cart recovery built in right now, you know, all of the Facebook shop, the Instagram shop, and a little bit of email marketing goes into it. But yeah, for the most part, we've kept it really simple, just built off Shopify. We've got a really nice theme, really nice imagery. I think for the most part, we don't do too much like forced traffic. I think since we have such an appealing product and appealing website, people are just kind of naturally drawn to it.
And can you give us a breakdown of how this business makes money?
Definitely. So pretty much we just sell. So we have 3 different items that come in multiple different colors. And each of those items is a kind of a recurring purchase. So we have a relatively high recurring customer rate. People buy once, they want to come back and buy different colors and different sizes and come back some more. So pretty much it's just a standard purchase and then lots of recurring customers on top of that. We have a little bit of an upsell on shipping. Sometimes we make a little bit of money on the shipping label. Sometimes we lose a little bit. So it just kind of evens itself out. And then we've also introduced other products into the mix just because we have a cool photography based name and we definitely want to take advantage of that across multiple different avenues within the photography industry. One of our new revenue generators is actually a digital product and it's doing good. It's already paid for and it's producing sales. So that's been kind of a cool add to the mix.
And where does the majority of your traffic come from?
So majority of our traffic definitely comes from Facebook and Instagram. So whenever we first started this, we were doing the majority of our advertising on Google just because we didn't know how to do Facebook or Instagram ads. And since then, we've kind of gotten better at it. We learned how to set up the Facebook pixel and get things going with that. So right now, the only paid traffic that we've been doing since about, I think somewhere at the beginning of July is Facebook and Instagram ads. Honestly, it leaves and we're definitely not experts at it by all means. We're still definitely learning a lot about Facebook and Instagram ads. I always see, some of the direct to consumer type people I follow on Instagram, just they can do such insane stuff with Facebook ads. So I think really our Facebook ads aren't even fully tapped. I think there's more potential there. And then also just kind of diving into the other avenues, doing advertising on Google, doing advertising on YouTube. Our Pinterest is huge. We get a ton of Pinterest views. But yeah, for the most part, we just majority of our traffic comes from Facebook and Instagram ads. And then I would say secondary, just recurring customers who know about our site. I think the month of May, we pretty much just operated off of natural traffic that whole month. And, we still did a pretty significant amount of sales. So, but yeah, most of it is Facebook and Instagram.
And is there anything else that you're currently doing in terms of marketing?
We just keep up with social media. We post on Instagram, Facebook. We're looking into testing with TikTok. We're just not sure what's going to happen there, whether or not it's going to get shut down by the United States government. But yeah, no, not really. Really for marketing, we're just doing Facebook, Instagram ads. And, we occasionally do some influencer pushes. If an influencer reaches out to us and wants to use our product, we'll get that going with them. But really it's just pretty much just pretty simple, just Facebook and Instagram ads, and then just keeping up with posting on the social media regularly.
And going into the logistics a bit more, can you describe the process of getting the inventory and also sending it out to the customers?
Yeah, I think this is probably the biggest attraction to our business. So our supplier is located out in Nevada, and then there's a logistic company in the same town as our supplier. So the person at our logistics company goes over and picks up inventory from our supplier, takes it and stocks it for us, shelves it, and then packages up the orders and ships them off. So the supply chain is so incredibly simple. There's no need to keep large amounts of inventory on the shelves because you can literally, if you run out of stock of something, the 3PL run over to the supplier, pick it up for you, and then you'll have inventory back in stock same day. It's so beautiful. It saves you a ton of money on the shipping of the inventory. That used to be a huge cost whenever we would ship the orders ourselves, was getting our inventory out to where we're at in New Mexico. But now that our logistics company just runs over and picks it up, it saves us that cost. It truly is just such a beautiful supply chain. The supplier does a really good job of keeping all of the SKUs in stock. So really, all you have to do is just let the 3PL know to go grab the inventory that you need, and they'll keep your orders going out the door.
And can you describe the amount of work that you do on this site for maintenance?
So, overall, not a whole lot. My main function, especially at this point, now that the 3PL is all set up and we've gotten all of that whole process streamlined I mean, really the day to day is just maintaining the comments and on the Facebook and Instagram ads and just making sure that those are staying up and running and performing, responding to customer inquiries. We have a text message number that people can text. And then we also obviously have an email that people can reach out to. So just managing those inquiries. And those are really the only two things, and keeping and posting on social media regularly. So yeah, it's really simple. Just a mixture of posting on social media, managing the ads, and just keeping up customer service is the three main things. And we do a good job of it. I think we have like a 4.2 star rating on Facebook, 4.5 star rating on Facebook. So, we really like to keep up with our customers and keep them happy.
And is there anyone working with you on this? Any employees within your business?
Yes. So I have one person who I have run who just knows more about Facebook ads than I do. So I have him maintenance the ads for me. He's good at it. It's not his full-time job or anything like that. But, it was my college roommate. He was there whenever I started it, and he just he helps me out. And I pay him $800 a month. And I talked with him and let him know that we're selling. And he's also okay with staying on board with whoever the new buyer is. But I'm guessing, whoever buys this will probably know a lot more about Facebook ads than us and be able to scale a lot better.
Was there anyone else that worked with you, or was it just him?
It's just him these days. At the beginning of the year, I had a second employee. Whenever we shipped our own orders, I had like one full-time employee who's was responsibility, and we had like miscellaneous contractors. But since we moved everything to logistics company and just simplified the whole operation, it's really just myself, the person who managed the ads, and really just, I guess you can consider the 3PL the third person, but they're not really a contractor, they're service to us. But yes, we did have people at the beginning of the year. But yeah, like I said, once we simplified the business, there was really no need for them. So they no longer are with us.
Why are you deciding to sell the business then instead of keeping it and growing it?
One of the reasons that I started this in the first place back whenever I was in college, I was actually building a mobile phone app at the time. And I had raised $28,000 from pitch competitions. And so I got a developer, I worked with them. So they developed the back end. I developed the front end. I was really into this technology side of entrepreneurship. And unfortunately, this app wasn't paying the bills. So I, got into this, which kind of allowed me to work on my app and then also have some income. And to this day, I just find tech more interesting. And I have the opportunity to go and work at a national laboratory where I'd be working with people who are just unbelievably smart and learning about really cool technologies and working with them. And I'd actually be kind of working in the tech transfer kind of entrepreneurial side of it as well. So it's kind of just my two dream worlds coming together, entrepreneurship and technology. And, I would really like to pursue that opportunity. And then, also on the flip side, definitely the financial gain from it. I just turned 24 last week and I'm a year out of college. So, having that type of, putting this type of money into the bank and investing and maybe buying a house, all of this would kind of give me the opportunity to take the step into my next stage of life.
Yes, good answers, and happy birthday for the other week.
Yeah, thank you.
If you were to keep this business, what are some of the ways you would try to grow it?
So if I were to keep this business, I think number one, the thing that I would do is bring in a Facebook and Instagram ad expert. I think we have a lot on the table there. We do a decent job at it. But I think truly, if you want to really scale this thing, that's going to be one of the places that you can do so. Secondary is I would figure out how to do Google ads properly, really set up those search campaigns, because I think that we're missing out on a big opportunity there. And then also figure out how to interact with the influencers that we've had the ability to interact with before. Because we always have influencers reach out and, want to use our product, and, they will. And sometimes they tag us, sometimes they don't. So I think if we had a legitimate process or a legitimate service that really, held these influencers accountable, for posting and tagging us and actual brand collaborations with these people, there's a huge opportunity there, because it's just something that I'm not really familiar with. I'm not really sure what type of contracts you should make influencers sign or whatever, which is kind of a bummer, because we've worked with, YouTube channels with multi-million subscribers. We've been in music video. Our product's been in music videos with A-list celebrities, and we've worked with some other large artists. So if you figured out the proper way to capitalize off of those types of opportunities, this business would definitely skyrocket from there. But it's just something that I don't really have the expertise for. And it just hasn't been, everything about this business is so passive. It just hasn't been something that we've invested a lot of time into.
If a buyer was to come in for your business, would you be willing to commit to a non-compete?
Yeah, definitely. Once I'm out for this, definitely I have a lot of interest in the buyer being incredibly successful with this. I always like to tell people I like to be the second person in the bobsled, because like at the beginning, while they're building the business and like getting it up and going, the second guy on the bobsled sprints and gets it going, and they just kind of hops in for the ride. And, I've done my sprint, I've hopped in, and this business is kind of gliding down the track now. And so I would love to see the new seller really make this thing just blow up, so I can say that I had a part of that. So definitely willing to sign a non-compete, definitely willing to work with the seller, and then just, making sure that they're successful, giving them the knowledge that they find useful within me and just handing that over to them to make sure they're successful with this.
And on that thought, how much support are you willing to offer them? Is that like the email support and maybe a Skype call or two?
Yeah, definitely. On the profiles, I have listed that, I'm willing to, commit to 6 months of support. But I mean, obviously, if, my phone is always going to be readily available for whoever purchases, whenever, if you need a couple Skype calls a month, if you need, one call a week, if you need, whatever you need, I want to make sure that the seller is set up for success with this. And if they need my support to do so, I'm more than willing to consult with them.
And are you open to negotiating something like an earnout?
Yeah, definitely. I understand that the lump sum of money being asked is pretty significant amount. So if somebody is kind of interested in purchasing and then doing payout over a certain amount of time, depending on what the terms were, I would definitely be interested in entertaining it. Obviously, I'd like, cash up front, but like I said, I understand that's a little bit difficult. So yeah, definitely if the terms are right, I will entertain that.
And something we like to do sort of towards the end of this podcast is maybe give some advice to people that are just getting started building their first online business. So is there something that you wish you knew when you first started building your business?
Yeah, I think one of the things that I didn't really understand at the time is how important it is to set up, especially once you start to make money, how important it is to set up books that are really well kept, how important it is to set up the proper legal structure. So that way, having the proper business infrastructure is really going to set you up to scale further. And then whenever you do get to opportunities like these, having that type of proper business infrastructure set in and a really nice set of books definitely makes this process a lot easier, because like our books were, everything was on the books, but things weren't labeled correctly. So getting to the process where we were ready to sell was a little bit more timely. And I just realized how disorganized that I was in the beginning stages of this. And all of that could have saved us a lot of time if we would have set in that infrastructure in the beginning. And then the second thing would be being able to do as much as possible for yourself, but also understanding that if the business gets to a certain point where, it's getting ready, it scale upwards and it could be something big, making sure to ask for help and bring in experts who are really good at what they do and not stand in your own way. Because I think that's something that we did. We were finally getting good sales and we just wanted to do everything for ourselves and try to keep all the money for ourselves. And I think in the long run, that kind of stunted our growth. And, looking back, I wish I would have brought experts on earlier in the game whenever we were seeing bigger numbers to really help with that process. So understand what you're good at and then let the experts do their jobs. Those are my two pieces of advice.
And the last two questions from me. Putting yourself in the shoes of a buyer, why do you think that this business is a business worth buying?
I think number one is the simplified supply chain. Like I said, it's beautiful. No need to keep tons of inventory on the shelves. Number two, you can have inventory same day. Number three, no shipping cost on inventory. Like the supply chain side of this business is absolutely beautiful. The second thing is the growth. Last year, we were up 300% from our first year. This year, we're up 400% from what we were last year. So the business is on like an insane growth curve. And not only that, we typically see like a huge spike in sales in the fourth quarter. So this is definitely a great time to get involved in this business because the numbers that we typically see in October and November are just really crazy. During the fall and during Halloween, people love to use our products. So, and then obviously the gift season. So the business itself is on an amazing growth curve. And I think we're going to maintain that 400% growth on the year throughout this fourth quarter, which is going to be pretty wild to see. And then the third thing is I really do, kind of like going back to the advice that I gave to somebody first starting a store is kind of letting the experts do their job. I'm not an expert. Like I said, I started this as a class project. My college roommate runs the ads for me, and we just kind of maintain the business. We don't really take any straws to really grow it. I'm just not sure if it's just not what we want to do with it or it's just not in our interest, but it's just not what we're experts at doing. We've gotten it to this point, and I think that there's a lot of opportunity on the table with different paid revenues, with different influencer advertising or campaigns. I think there's a lot left on the table with this business, and somebody who knows what they're doing is definitely going to be able to scale this thing to the moon. And then, with the simplified supply chain and management of it, it's going to be a very passive income source for somebody.
And lastly, is there anything else that you would like to share that I might have missed?
I think I was able to hit on everything I wanted to talk about. I feel like I went down a couple rabbit holes on questions and maybe might throw in some irrelevant information in there just because I had some stuff that I wanted to say. So I think I pretty much got everything that I wanted to say about the business. But, just to conclude, it's a beautiful business. It's very visually appealing. Supply chain is simple, lots of room for growth. And I'm willing to support the new buyer in making this thing as successful it's been for me. I'm willing to do the same for the new buyer. So yeah, I'm really excited about this process, and I look forward to just doing some interviews with buyers and talking to some people and getting a deal done on this.
Cool. Well, thank you very much for joining us today.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Max. Appreciate your time.
Okay, everyone, thanks for listening. To learn more and see if this listing has already been sold, head over to empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing 48053. If you're watching this on YouTube, click the link in the description to go straight to the listing. Once you've unlocked this listing, you'll be given everything you need to know about this business, and I'll see you in the next episode.